สวัสดีครับ Good morning. Thank you for joining us on Newsline. We're airing live on NBT Radio Thailand, FM 88 and NBT World. Today is Sunday, April 19th, and you're me, Surapan Lautharanarit. Welcome to today's segment of Thailand Moves Forward. First up, Prime Minister General Prayut Chan-o-cha has called on all Thais to help make the country worth knowing and visiting during his speech on the Return Happiness to the People program. Prime Minister Prayut has asked all sectors, including the general public, to do their best to strengthen society while the government strives to reform the country and solve deep-rooted problems. To build a peaceful society, General Prayut stressed that it was important that all citizens were aware of their roles and mobilized their efforts to perform their duty to the best of their ability. He reiterated that no country could build a better society through the exploitation of the rights and freedoms of others. The Premier also thanked administrative officers, local authorities, village heads, volunteers, and the military who provided safety for commuters and revelers during the Songkran festival. He said he appreciated everyone's effort to help preserve the beauty of the Thai culture and traditions of Songkran. General Prayut also called on the public not to worry about Section 44, saying the law was actually intended to enable authorities to suppress illegal activities more effectively. Prime Minister Prayut Chan-o-cha has presented to the Thai and foreign media the government's 6-month performance report, which focused on national security, the southern unrest, the reduction of social inequality, and the stimulation of the economy. In a press conference at Government House, Prime Minister Prayut, ministers, and government officials from the 20 ministries took turns describing their achievements in the past 6 months. General Prayut affirmed that an election will be held according to the roadmap, providing that no new conflicts arise. Deputy Prime Minister for Economic Affairs Hmom Rachawong Prithiyathorn Thewakul addressed economic achievements. He reported that the country's gross domestic product, or GDP, for the fourth quarter of last year expanded by 2.3%. while foreseeing a 3% GDP expansion in this year's first quarter due to budget disbursements and new factory openings. He added that economic growth from the return of tourists to the kingdom has greatly offset the drop in overall exports. Deputy Prime Minister Yonghyut Yuttawong was the next person to address the government's social-related achievements, expressing his satisfaction with the joint efforts of 4 ministers on reducing inequality and developing human resources, while revealing the government's plans to establish an education super board and to cultivate a lifetime learning mentality in Thai citizens. Deputy Foreign Minister Don Paramat Vinay then detailed his ministry's agenda on the development of quality personnel in order to be competitive in the international arena. In addition, Minister to the Prime Minister's Office, Suwapan Panyuwathana, who was the last official to speak at the event, talked about the government's effort to cut administrative costs and stimulate the well-being of small and medium-sized enterprises through new sources of credit. Pamphlets detailing the government's achievements in 11 policies have also been distributed to the media. The 11 policies include the protection of the monarchy, national security, social equality, education, healthcare, economy, the role of Thailand in ASEAN, science and technology, natural resource preservation, anti-corruption efforts, and the justice system. The Deputy Prime Minister in charge of economic affairs has said that he expects increased employment due to government spending in the second quarter. During his announcement on the government's performance over the past 6 months, Deputy Prime Minister in charge of Economic Affairs Hmom Rachawong Prithiyathorn Thewakul disclosed that the government has spent 5% of the state investment budget in the second quarter of fiscal year 2015. Public spending is expected to contribute to a hike in employment. Regarding private investment during May 2014 to March 2015, operators were granted permission to build 4,911 factories worth over 400 billion baht. 3,549 factories are currently under construction. 343 billion baht of the state budget has been allocated to these projects, leading to job recruitment of more than 133,000 people. Exports are likely to slip below 4% due to the declining purchasing power of China, Europe, and Japan. Nevertheless, the gross domestic product is expected to expand 3%, thanks to robust tourism and service industries, which are expected to enjoy a growth of 15%. The Deputy Prime Minister attributed the lackluster economy to the government's social restructuring, which had an adverse effect on illegal businesses. He admitted that unlawful activities did have a role in the Thai economy. The Ministry of Commerce has admitted that the global economic slowdown is affecting Thai exports, saying the 2015 export growth estimate may need to be revised down further. Following a projection by Deputy Prime Minister Hmom Rachawong Pridiyathorn Thewakul that export growth of the first quarter might post a 4% shrinkage, Commerce Minister General Chatchai Sarikanya affirmed the quarterly figure cannot yet be determined until the figure of March comes out. Nonetheless, he cited the sluggish world economy as the main factor impeding Thai export expansion. On a more positive note, the minister predicted that the economies of Thailand's trade partner countries, such as China, will begin to pick up from now on. He believes that if China resumes its normal imports of Thai products, especially rubber, the Thai export sector will experience less contraction for the remainder of this year. With the dim prospects for overall Thai exports, General Chatchai conceded that it may be inevitable for the Commerce Ministry to make another adjustment to its export growth target for the entire year, down from the current 4%. The Ministry of Agriculture and Cooperatives says it has successfully offered help to all troubled rice and rubber farmers as planned. Agriculture and Cooperatives Minister Pitipong Phungbun Ayutthaya said the government had distributed over 60 billion baht to rice and rubber growers affected by falling agro-product prices and drought as a short-term solutions. Regarding solutions to drought-related problems, Mr. Pitipong said the Ministry of Agriculture and Cooperatives offered affected rice farmers compensation of 1,000 baht per rai and provided them with job opportunities, organic agriculture training programs, and water supplies for farming. More than 3.5 million households have benefited from the ministry's assistance measures. As for the rubber industry, the ministry has also provided compensation of 1,000 baht per rai to more than 767,000 households and approved loans of 20 billion baht for rubber farmers via financial institutions. Prime Minister General Prayut Chan-o-cha and Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Foreign Affairs General Thanasak Patimaprakon will be visiting the Republic of Indonesia to attend the Asian-African Conference Summit at the invitation of President Joko Widodo. Prime Minister Prayut is scheduled to participate in a leaders' meeting from April 22nd to 23rd, while Deputy Prime Minister and Foreign Affairs Minister Thanasak is due to partake in a ministerial meeting on April 20th in Jakarta. Prime Minister Prayut has assigned General Thanasak to deputize for him at the ceremonies to commemorate the 60th anniversary of the Asian-African Conference and the 10th anniversary of the new Asian-African Strategic Partnership on April 24th in Bandung City. Thai delegates will also attend other sideline meetings, including the Asia-Africa Parliamentary Conference, the Asia-Africa Business Forum, and the Asia-Africa Smart City Summit 2015. Transport Deputy Permanent Secretary Pongchai Kasem Sisak disclosed that he would propose a plan to buy the first batch of 500 electric buses instead of NGV buses to Transport Minister Prajin Chantong next week, after a study shows that electric buses are more cost-effective in the long run. Mr. Pongchai said a comparative study of cost-effectiveness between electric and NGV buses indicated a future decline in maintenance cost for electric buses compared to NGV-powered ones. Although an electric bus can cost as much as 15 million baht per unit, which is 3 times more expensive than an NGV counterpart, Mr. Pongchai explained that the fuel cost of electric buses tend to be lower due to their increased popularity among many countries, whereas the fuel cost of NGV buses is likely to go up, owing to the shrinking resource of NGV. Mr. Pongchai said the Metropolitan Electricity Authority would undertake the construction of charging stations if the Minister of Transport approved the idea. The Transport Deputy Permanent Secretary plans to replace the second batch of 2,694 NGV buses, which the Ministry of Transport previously considered buying, with the electric buses. The Ministry of Transport earlier approved the first batch of 489 NGV buses. The procurement is still in the process of bidding. The Bangkok Metropolitan Administration, or BMA, has launched a campaign to reorganize the footpaths along Asok Montri Road, while much cooperation is received from the street vendors. Chief Advisor to the Bangkok Governor, Wanlop Suwandi, led a team of officials from the BMA, the Metropolitan Police Bureau, and other related agencies on a visit to the Asok Montri area to follow up on the progress of the street reorganization project. The inspection followed a resolution by a responsible committee of Wattana District to impose a ban against street stalls between 6 a.m. and 7 p.m. every day, effective from April 16th onwards. Any violators would be subject to legal punishment. Mr. Wanlop stated that the BMA has so far reorganized the footpaths in 28 areas in 16 districts of the capital. Asok Montri Road, located in Wattana District, was one of the areas which drew a flood of complaints from residents over the obstruction of public commute by street hawkers, who number up to 177. However, since the new operating hours took effect, the vendors have reportedly been cooperative. As for motorcycle taxis operating on sidewalks, the BMA will join forces with the Metropolitan Police in clamping down on the perpetrators through the prescription of maximum fines. The Interior Ministry has told the Department of Disaster Prevention and Mitigation to prepare emergency measures as tropical storms are forecast to hit 53 provinces next week. The storms brought on by high-pressure systems from China are expected to grip 8 provinces in the east, 17 in the north, 8 in the central region, and 20 in the northeast between April 21st and 24th. Affected provinces will experience heavy rains and hailstorms in some areas. The Department of Disaster Prevention and Mitigation has set up emergency teams who will be on call 24 hours a day. Its officials are also surveying constructions and advertisement billboards in affected provinces to fix any detected irregularities. Residents in the above-said areas have been warned to examine and fix their houses prior to the storms. The department has cautioned people to refrain from using mobile phones outdoors and parking their vehicles or taking shelter under a tree or a flimsy structure during thunderstorms. Those seeking help can call the hotline 1784 around the clock. in order to help local people realize the importance of mangrove forests along the Gulf of Thailand. Bang Tabun Vidyalai School in Phetchaburi Province has founded the Mangrove Conservation and Learning Center to help make visitors and students understand more about the benefits of mangroves and the negative impact if the forests are depleted. Kun Suchani Rungmuenporn reports from Phetchaburi.
Mangroves are essential natural resources for humans. It is a place which bridges lives on land and lives under the sea. It serves as a nursery for many fish species and marine life. Mangrove forests offer many benefits to people, but the important one is its function to help trap sediments flowing down the rivers and off the land. This helps protect the coastline from being eroded by storm surges. The Mangroves Ecosystem Conservation and Learning Center in Bang Tabun Vidya School in Phetchaburi Province realized its functions and the importance of mangroves really well. With a very fertile mangrove forest located behind the school, a conservation center is formed to allow the students and visitors to have a direct experience to learn about the mangrove since 1986.
ตั้งแต่ปี29เป็นต้นมาก็เลยกลายเป็นแหล่งเรียนรู้ให้กับครูจากโรงเรียนต่างๆได้เข้ามาศึกษาดูงานที่นี่ในปี29เนี่ยแต่เนื่องจากระยะหลังตั้งแต่ปี29เป็นต้นมาเนี่ยป่าชายเลนถูกทำลายเยอะก็เลยมีจุดประสงค์เพิ่มคือเป็นแหล่งเรียนรู้ให้กับเยาวชนนักศึกษาทั่วประเทศเพื่อให้เขามาดูกระบวนการทำกิจกรรมแล้วก็ให้เกิดความรักในเรื่องของป่าชายเลน
The Bang Tabun Vidya School is located in Bang Tabun Subdistrict, Ba Lam District, in Phetchaburi Province in the Gulf of Thailand. The mangrove forest here is grown both naturally and partially by people around the area for commercial use in the past. Mangrove trees here were grown in the brackish water ecosystem that happened from the mixture of seawater from the Gulf of Thailand and fresh water from the Phetchaburi River.
นี่จะเป็นต้นโกงกังนะคะโกงกังก็จะมีอยู่2ชนิดมีโกงกังใบเล็กกับโกงกังใบใหญ่ค่ะตรงนี้จะเป็นโกงกังใบใหญ่นะคะแล้วก็ต้นนี้ค่ะจะเป็นโกงกังใบเล็กมันต่างกันตรงรากค่ะถ้ารากโกงกังใบเล็กมันจะตั้งฉากก่อนแล้วก็โค้งลงดินถ้าเป็นโกงกังใบใหญ่มันจะโค้งลงดินเลยค่ะมันจะไม่ตั้งฉาก
Sutika Leung Aram is one of the students taking part as a volunteer in youth guide project of the school, which offers a training to the students to be a guide introducing mangroves and marine ecosystem. The training doesn't include only short courses, but also a subject about mangrove and its ecosystem taught for 2 hours a week in the school since the students were young. This Mangrove Conservation Center allows students and visitors to appreciate more the ecological values of the mangrove forest. But most importantly, it makes them understand more about the devastating effect that mangrove deforestation can have on their life and the life of marine animals and plants. And this direct experience can encourage them to help to conserve the mangrove forests in their communities, which hopefully can lead to sustainable mangrove management and conservation in the country. Suchani Rungmuenporn reporting from Phetchaburi.
And that brings us to the end of today's edition of Thailand Moves Forward. Before we take a quick break, let's have a look at the exchange rates and commodity prices.
To maintain a strong nation, Thailand is promoting 12 core values for the good of the people. The 8th core value: maintaining discipline and respectfulness of the law and the elderly.
don't see them. They are amongst us. And they're hungry. Slay your power-sucking monsters. Take their power away. Think when you plug.
NBT World, a 24-hour English language television service operated by the National News Bureau of Thailand, or NNT, is designed to bring the most reliable information about Thailand to the international community. NBT World is available on various platforms, including via C-band set-top boxes, GMMZ Channel 202, PSI Channel 272, and a live stream on thainews.prd.go.th/newsing. You can also follow us on facebook.com/NNT News or download the PRD News EN application on your smartphones. NBT World, a vision of Thailand.
Welcome back. You're watching Newsline. The Department of International Trade Promotion, or DITP, is poised to beef up its sales campaigns in major and prospective overseas markets. The DITP will focus its campaigns on markets in Japan, China, South Korea, India, Southeast Asia, and neighboring countries. Marketing strategies will vary in line with the target groups of each country. For the market in Japan, the DITP has planned to boost the sales of food and drinks and textiles. Attention will be given to consumers aged between 20 and 64. The department will also send trade representatives to discuss future deals with Japanese businessmen in July. As for China, the target group will be consumers with high purchasing power in secondary cities. Food products will be the major export items. Popular Thai celebrities will be selected as brand ambassadors. With regard to India, the DITP will encourage Thai operators in Myanmar to penetrate smaller cities where Thai market shares are still limited. Meanwhile, giant producers such as CP, Siam Cement Group, and Thai Bev will be urged to expand their businesses across ASEAN. Moving on to the global front, Iran marked National Army Day on Saturday with a military parade and a showcase of military firepower. President Hassan Rouhani attended the annual ceremony that marks the establishment of the country's army. He said Tehran had deployed warships off Yemen's coast to ensure the security of neighboring countries and maritime traffic. Iran sent the vessels this month to set up a military presence off the coast of Yemen, where Saudi Arabia is leading a bombing campaign against the Houthi rebels. Iran has condemned the campaign and called for dialogue. Saudi Arabia accuses Tehran of providing military support to the Houthis, a charge Tehran denies. Rouhani said the country's military strategy was of deterrence, so that peace could be achieved in the Middle East region. A truck carrying millions of honeybees overturned on a freeway north of Seattle, creating a massive traffic jam as the swarming insects stung firefighters. Beekeepers tried to collect the bees from the wreck on Interstate 5 highway in Linwood, less than 15 miles north of Seattle, but they could not get all of them, said Washington State Patrol spokesman Trooper Travis Shearer. Firefighters had to spray water and foam to keep the swarming bees down. Authorities could not give an exact estimate of how many bees were contained in the 440 hives on the truck, but given that one hive can contain at least 20,000 bees, the insects appeared to number in the millions. Firefighters who responded to the scene received a few bee stings, even though they were in full protective gear, said Julie Moore, spokeswoman for the Linwood Fire Department. News crews and state troopers had to defend themselves from attacking bees, according to local broadcaster Como News. And that's it for today's edition of Newsline. If you have any comments or suggestions, please feel free to email us at newsline.nbt@gmail.com. You can also follow us on Facebook or check out our website at thainews.prd.go.th/newsing. And for today, we're going to say goodbye with the One Life Festival in Pattaya, where people are celebrating the second round of the annual Water Festival. I'm Surapan Lautharanarit. Thank you for joining us and have a great day. สวัสดีครับ